Good morning. Hi, guys. Welcome, and thank you for joining me. My name is Stacey. If we haven't met, go ahead and throw your name in the comments so I know you're here and you're listening, and um, yeah, keeping me accountable. If I tell you guys I'm going to do anything in this video, that's my thing. I've been trying to do really good, not vocalizing something that I may or may not do, because with my CMC um, challenging medical condition. I over promise myself to things. My task list could be 50 miles long, and guess what? My task list for today is 50 miles long. I have a really hard time not shoving everything in all at once, wanting to do everything at once. Um, Again, part of my CMC, and I'm going to get into that. So, I was diagnosed with ADHD. Um, if you watched my good therapist, bad therapist video, you know that I've been going through some stuff. So, this is a caveat onto that. And in my life, in my real world here, that was about 15 minutes ago that I recorded that video. So I have successfully transitioned from water to coffee. So 1 second, let me take a sip. And it's even coffee with a little bit of bad carbs. I am not supposed to do it. However, a little bit will help me from overindulging. Just saying. And that is a different video altogether. So, this video should be positive. I can't say that I'm not going to squirrel, but I want to talk to you a little bit about my diagnosis of ADHD. I'm sure I will also talk to you about my anxiety and depression as well. Right now, I'm in between therapists. So I am trying to help myself by learning as much as I can on my own. And one of my coping mechanisms. So if you watched the good therapist, bad therapist video, you know that a lot went down yesterday and the day before. And actually, one of my coping mechanisms is to go out and do something that makes me happy. One day I was not feeling the greatest, and I was actually able to get myself out of the house and I went to the local landscape company and took pictures of the flowers, because you guys, that makes me happy. First of all, I love flowers. They're gorgeous. They are artsy. They are creative on their own. They are nature. I love Mother Nature. And I get to take pictures. It's a win-win for me. I spent like over an hour just looking and really looking at detail. And I'm going off track. Okay, so come back down that branch, Stacey. Coping mechanisms. So one of my other coping mechanisms is treasure hunting. So specifically, I am looking for books that may help me in my situation and what I'm doing right now. You guys, I have a stack of self-help books on my bedside, for all different things, for weight loss, for, I don't know, home remedies, to daily mantras. And I'm just that person, and it helps me to go find a book. And I don't have a lot of money, guys, so it makes the treasure hunt even more special. If I can't find a book that I want, I will buy it if I absolutely have to have it. But I did find a treasure yesterday, you guys. I have barely read any of this book. It's, I think, the second big book from this author, and I'll show it to you in a minute. But in the preface and acknowledgments, and the first few pages of the book, I was crying because it was so so me. Um, I was giggling because it was so me. You guys, ADHD is a funny thing. And it's a difficult thing. And it is a lifelong thing, but there's definitely ways that we can overcome it, right? People have done it, and I'm excited to get started with that. Knowing that I've had anxiety and depression my whole life, that's something I've worked on myself, to overcome, and I still have a long road. But ADHD is new to me. Looking back, obviously, I had it as a child. And now, as I'm getting older, for those of you that are getting into your middle ages, there's a thing called a menopause and premenopause, and those hormones, from what I'm reading, could have a major impact if you had ADHD or ADD as a child. And you guys, if you're my age, I'm 48, turning 49, I think. But I'm getting to that time where my hormones are either already going out of whack. I have to make a doctor's appointment. But procrastination. I am a expert at that, definitely. But it's really amazing what I'm reading on the correlation, or these, not the similarities, but the how one may affect another with ADHD. And I already said that. So I'm actually at the point where I'm telling you that I am almost midlife. It's not a midlife crisis, but my hormones are doing some dancing around right now, and leaving the stage. And oh gosh, are you kidding me? I am talking about ADHD and menopause and the age that I'm at. Sorry, I had to go through the whole thing to remember where I was at. So when I was younger, there was not a diagnosis of ADD. You guys, I was born in 1974. So, from what I'm reading, and I could be completely wrong, and I'll back this up with some statistics or some links for you guys to read, but right now I'm just babbling. I'm not going to provide a link. I'll give you that later. I'm just talking right now. So take it as you will. I could be right. I could be wrong. I could be not remembering correctly, but this is what I remember. And by the way, I am not a medical professional. I do not have a medical professional degree. I don't have a doctorate. I don't have a master's. Honestly, I don't have a degree. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know I'm not a medical professional. This is all experience and reading. And I try to read reliable resources such as the CDC or some other organizations specific to either CMCs or, the like. So in saying that, I've completely got off track. My book, the book that I found, the treasure hunt that I went on, I don't even know if I told you guys this, and if I'm repeating myself. If I'm repeating myself, I'm really sorry. But here you go. My coping mechanism is to learn. To learn, it helps me redirect my focus from all this craziness that's going on in my head and all these thoughts that are going on in my head. And if I can get myself out, I go treasure hunting for like a book, and I found a really great book, and I think I did tell you this. Okay, so I'm repeating myself. I'm only here. Oh, wait, where am I even? Okay, so I have a bookmark. My bookmark is actually the paper placemat of my local restaurant, because you guys, I don't know about you, but in the Midwest, Chicagoland area, if you go to a diner, for some reason, instead of just having your table, they spend money on these paper placemats for you to put everything on, even though the table still gets dirty. But anyway, this is it. Okay, I stopped for some soup. because they have amazing soup, you guys. Island Cafe in Island Lake, Illinois. Just saying. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they have chicken dumpling soup. And these are the dumplings like you had, the drop noodles, like you had in school if you went to a condo, or I don't know what other school had the same kind of soup. And I'm totally going off on a tangent, but I have to because it's amazing. So they are not paying me to say this. I am not sponsored by anyone. This is just me. And I love Island Cafe chicken dumpling soup. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So, I've gotten to this far. That's all I did yesterday. And I laughed and I cried and I had wow moments. Like, oh my God, am I reading my life? You guys are so much. Within the first few pages, I had taken pictures and sent it to Greg. Like, wow. Like, just wow. I don't know. I guess I never thought about ADD as being, ADHD as being a diagnosis I would ever have because I'm not hyper. I don't. Ooh, I'm sorry. I kind of flashed you a little bit there. Sorry. I always related ADHD with that hyperactivity. And you guys, I was the exact opposite. Hello. Call me lazy. Call me introvert. Call me many, many things. Call me whatever you will. But I didn't have that hyperactivity and I never thought of having ADHD. And now that I do, and now that I'm researching it, it's just amazing. And again, if you're my age, they didn't have ADHD diagnoses back then. From what I'm reading, here we go. I was talking about this. Woohoo! I believe they started diagnosing boys with ADHD in the 80s, the early 80s. Girls were not diagnosed with it. It was a boy. It was specific to male boys. And I think specific to children, but I don't know that for sure. I have to keep reading, you guys. Anyway. It wasn't diagnosed in girls till later. Well, being born in 1974, I was never diagnosed with ADHD. But looking back at my traits back then, I guarantee you, and as I said, I was diagnosed with that at an age under, I think it's 12. It might be 13. But that's not on me, you guys. I'm not the medical professional. I'm just the person living with ADHD. So I do have to share with you. Okay, so the book is Delivered from Distraction. This is my treasure hunt book. It is Edward M. Hallowell, MD, and John Ratty, MD. I could be wrong pronouncing the name, but if you look it up, you'll see it. And it seems like, as I'm reading this, this is the second major book that they wrote together regarding ADHD, or attention deficit disorder. The first one was Driven to Distraction. Again, sorry, I have to readjust. Again, in the first few pages, not even getting into the first chapter, but just the preface, I laughed, cried, and was in awe at seeing myself. I'm into the chapters a little bit more, and I'll probably share this book, but I can guarantee you that I'm going to love it. And it's going to be very helpful. But I guess I'm on chapter 2. Is this what I want to share with you? So I want to share the feel of ADD. So ADD can be a combination of many different symptoms, traits, not symptoms, but the traits, how we act, who we are, and it's just a bunch of different things. And they list ingredients to create that person that you are. And some of the traits that are correlated with ADD are high mental and physical energy coupled with extreme lassitude at times, fast-moving, easily distracted mind, coupled with an amazingly super focused mind at times. You guys, I thought There is no way I have ADD. I can totally focus. Once I focus, I am so focused. I am the queen of focus. Didn't realize that the back and forth of the two. So right now I'm going through huge phases of lack of any focus. Okay, for whatever reason, whether it is due to hormones or not. But I didn't know that having the two extremes could, be part of ADD. I would have never, again, I'm sorry, I need my coffee. And I'm trying to do this video before the kids wake up, so I could just spend time with them. Anyway, trouble remembering, planning, and anticipating. That's huge, and I think we know that goes with ADD. Remembering, planning, and then anticipating is huge. Not something that before now I really took into consideration in any aspect of my life. But anticipating how long it actually takes me to do something. Right now, it takes me a really long time to even get off the couch. And get out the door. And I know I'm going through something, and I know I'm getting through it, and I'm doing really good. And you guys, I actually feel pretty strong. And I'm really excited that after the bad experiences I had, if you watched Poor Me, if you watched Good Therapist, Bad Therapist, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let me just get back to reading the some of the traits that you feel with ADD. Oh wait, I was doing anticipating. So anticipating, I just wanted to say now I know that it takes me a little longer to do things. I need to take a deep breath. I know that I might get a little anxious. I know that I might not be able to focus. And this is specific to me. You may have ADHD without, anxiety. So that wouldn't really pertain to you. This is my experience. I know that a lot of CMCs go hand in hand, and a lot of the traits are shared among them. So you may have depression and anxiety and share the same exact trait, as well as ADHD. So again, I am not the doctor. I do not have the master's degree. But I am sharing with you what I'm learning, in hopes that either it'll spark something for you to get out there and get your own book, or maybe you just listen to me. I'll share everything that I can that I'm learning. Just know it's through me and not a medical professional. Anyway. So anticipating unpredictability and impulsivity. Yeah. Anyway, creativity. Didn't realize that was an ADD trait. It's surprising. And it makes you wonder how many creative people out there suffer. And I use that loosely because if you can live with it, I guess it depends on the severity of your ADHD and how it affects you. But how many creative people out there have undiagnosed ADHD or ADD, whatever, who are my age? You guys, what I'm reading, we were not diagnosed if you're my age. And inattentive ADD is more common in women. So if you have any of these symptoms, you may be an undiagnosed ADD. But do your research and make sure you do get medical professional help, because again, a lot of CMCs share traits. You can't diagnose yourself. It's impossible. I am very comfortable now having a real evaluation. Now, there are steps, obviously. You need to see someone before you see someone else, before you get to have that evaluation, most likely, depending on your insurance and your doctors. But I promise you, it's worth the strength and the wait. Promise. Anyway, where am I? Creativity. Lack of inhibition as compared to others. Disorganization coupled with remarkable organizational skills in certain domains. My house is very disorganized right now. And that's one of my goals, you guys. I do have a plan for myself, for my personal life, my professional life, my just my life in general, and it's specific to me, and I will most likely share that with you because, again, if the things that I'm doing to live with ADHD successfully for the rest of my life, if it helps me, and it may help you. So there you go. Whether you want it or not, you can just stop the video. You know, you don't have to watch me or listen to me. So that is the wonders of technology. We are not in class. You do not have to listen to me. You are not paying, and you are not getting graded. So anyway, so disorganization coupled with remarkable organizational skills in certain domains. You guys, again, my house is disorganized. I don't have a place for everything. However, that is one of the things that I work on a daily basis because I have to. It's one of those daily things. But then work. My work area, I don't know why, whatever shifts from home to work, I am super organized with my work stuff. However, that being said, I was super organized with my work stuff at work. Now that I work from home, it's not as organized. My stuff isn't as organized only because toys will trickle in and sit on my desk, and then I, have toys sitting there. So that's distracting. I don't play with the toys, but it's not a clean desk like it was when I was in the office. So there is a little bit of disorganization, but still pretty good organization for someone who is so disorganized with other stuff. Speaking of disorganization, like I have to have a planner. I always loved the look of planners, the idea of planners, because I'm a writer. I like to write things down. I'm a visual person. But I would buy a planner and I would never use it. You guys, I'm using it now, and it is the only thing keeping me from not forgetting everything. Just saying. All right. So then a tendency towards procrastination coupled with an I must do it or have it now attitude at times. So I am a master of procrastination, but it also, when push comes to shove, until recently, you guys, I'm having difficulty, obviously, why I'm doing further evaluations and deep diving and creating a plan for myself because something just isn't right. Something just broke, you guys. I don't know how else to say it. I am sitting here talking to myself, really, but talking to you, and I'm fine. And something will trigger. I've been doing a lot of soul searching and thinking about the past and uncovering stuff that I never would have chose to uncover and don't really want to remember, but you have to in order to get through it, right? So anyway, that's another video. Anyway, okay, so procrastination, yes, and then the I must do it or have it now attitude, absolutely. Right now or not, never, yeah, I do that. High intensity, not that you need to know what I do. You guys, these could be specific to me. They could be specific to you. This is just some generalized traits that you may feel with ADHD or ADD. A high intensity attitude altering with a foggy one. A high intensity attitude alternating with a foggy one. Okay. Forgetfulness coupled with an extraordinary recall of certain often irrelevant remote information. I think I do that all the time, you guys. And I don't know if this is what they're talking about, but I'm pretty sure I have forgotten where I was at several times already in this video. And giving you way too much information. So if the label above your head says TMI, you may be ADD. Just stating that you may be ADD, you may not be ADD. These experiences can happen in regular life. It's when they become a problem, these traits, when they become a problem, they rule your life. There's a something you have to actually work with. That's the difference between actually having a diagnosis and it being real, and just having something affect you every day, like depression. I think that's the biggest thing I can say that I think is relatable is everyone gets depressed. You guys, everyone gets depressed. Someone passes away, or an animal, whatever, a loved one, something you love goes away. It's sad. And if it's not sad, then that's a whole nother medical issue altogether. And it's scary. But anyway, it's when it hinders your life, you can't cope with it, and you can't live with it, and there's usually some truly not usually, I'm just gonna stop there. There's things you feel if you're normal, and then there's that same feeling you feel when you're not normal, and but it just affects your life differently. So there. Anyway, I'm off on one of my branches. So where am I? Passionate interests coupled with an inability to arouse interests at other times. So a lot of these are like the extremes, black and white. So one end and then the other end. It's just interesting how you can have a condition that can incorporate two extremes, and many of these have both extremes. It's just interesting. Crazy. Loosely use the word crazy. If you know me, I call myself crazy, but I'm not really talking about the true sense of cuckoo. Okay. An original, often zany way of looking at the world. It makes me laugh because if you know me, you know my, zany way of looking at the world. So, and I'm not trying to diagnose myself, you guys. It's just interesting. And again, these can relate to everyone, whether you have an ADHD, true ADHD, or you're just a normal person. It's just the level that it affects you. So anyway, and there's true chemical imbalance too, just so you know. It's not just mental. That's why ADHD medicine works, because, and not 100% of the time, you guys, there's some statistics, and I'm going off on this other branch. So anyway, let me try to get through this list. Irritability coupled with tender-heartedness. Two extremes. A tendency to drink too much alcohol, smoke cigarettes, use other drugs, or get involved with addictive activities such as gambling, shopping, spending, sex, food, and the internet, coupled with a tendency to abstain altogether at times. Makes you wonder why bipolar could be misconstrued if you have ADHD. So if you have ADHD and there's times when you are doing too much drinking, smoking, gallivanting, and then there's other times when you just abstain from all of that, maybe it's too overwhelming. Maybe, I know me, my focus goes here, 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 here. It shoots all over the place that by early afternoon, I am completely mentally exhausted. So I can totally see how there's so many correlations between different medical diagnoses. Anyway, a tendency to worry unnecessarily, coupled with a tendency not to worry enough when it's warranted. I have to think about that one. A tendency to be nonconformist or a maverick. A tendency to reject help from others, coupled with a tendency to want to give help to others. If you know me, and you guys are going to know me if you watch these videos, because I'm just going to talk, and I'm just going to try to let you know what it's like living with ADHD and other, challenging mental conditions, and like the whole Manjaro that I'm and healthy physical and well-being, the whole shebang, separate from my CMCs. You guys are going to know me. Probably better than my friends. I don't know. I don't tend to have a lot of friends, which is another trait. Anyway, so yeah, I have a really hard time accepting help. A really, really, really hard time accepting help, accepting gifts. You guys, I'm so much better at giving, and I want to help the world. I have learned to be selfishly intent though, or intently selfish. Liquid lumber daters, okay. Intently selfish about you know, accepting things, I suppose. Sorry, that took a lot of thought because I kind of lost my focus. Imagine that. Okay, anyway. All right, generosity that can go too far. A tendency to repeat the same mistake many times without learning from it. I think that when you live with CMC or CMCs, you tend to go in cycles. You have to break those cycles. Something I'm doing. Yay, join me. It's going to be a wild ride. Let's see. A tendency to underestimate the time it takes to complete a task or to get to a destination. So, yeah. I can tell you, and I have every intent of getting something done within a half hour. And it's 2 hours later, and I'm probably done 5 other things, but I have not completed the task at hand that I said I'd have done within the time allotted. So anyway, various other ingredients, none of which dominates all the time, and any one of which may be absent in a single individual. So, you guys, I know that is just a quick bulleted list from this book, but I am going to keep reading. I'm not going to tell you everything because I think that would not be nice to the authors. I don't think that my expression of the author's intent really does it justice. I can tell you my feelings, but everyone has a different view. And when you read this book, if you read it, I suggest finding a book that you relate to. But this, oh my goodness, I have several. Like I said, several books, and this one I can't put down. Well, I can because I fell asleep, and because I have to, love on my kids because they're the reason I live. And we have to work, and we have to eat, and I can't just sit here and read a book. That's my point, and I'm gonna forget about my point if I keep going. So anyway, you guys, what you could take away from this is be strong, learn things on your own, and if you feel that you may be a round peg in a square hole, taken from this book, or other things that you would never correlate to a certain mental condition, you might want to, think twice about it because it's surprising what you find. But don't take your own word for it. Do your research and ask the specialists and the people who went to school for this because, I don't have my master's degree. That's going to be my joke. I don't know why, because I have to turn everything that is so horrific to me into some sort of comedy. That is a coping mechanism. I laugh when I am hurting. Life, the brain, the mind. It's interesting. So, join me for my interesting journey. I'm sure I'll be back on soon with another video. Maybe it'll be like 15 minutes from now in my real world, but maybe 2 hours for you. And speaking of videos, real quick, you guys, I may not have consistent videos. Guess why? I have extreme ADHD and I am not on medication yet. I am working on getting a therapist. I am working on getting a psychiatrist that I feel comfortable with and that I can trust. Until then, I will babble to you often and see you soon. Subscribe so you know when I'm going on again, in case I do have a break of interval, because even though I feel like I'm getting better and I'm feeling really good this morning, I don't know what this afternoon will bring. So anyway, have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Have a fun and safe 4th of July, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.